Wargaming Tactics 101. What we've been exploring is this idea, independent of system, X-Wing miniatures, Warhammer 40K, God Tier, Battletech, Pacific Rim Extinction, historicals, DBA, DBN, Chain of Command. There are certain Tactica fundamentals in play in every wargaming system, and if we can identify them, if we can isolate them, if we can understand them, we can pull them out and utilize that portability to literally port over or travel over to other wargaming systems. And we've been exploring some of these ideas on the channel here. I've been pushing them up to the Wargaming Tactics playlist. So certainly check those out, take those ideas, make them better, improve them, use them to win your next game. So today's vlog is going to focus on the Tactica question of a Tarpit unit. This idea of a unit that you send out there to stop, delay, or slow down other really powerful units. So here's a scenario. We have a system, say like Warhammer 40,000, where you have a very powerful close combat unit, or other wargaming systems that involve mass combat, close combat. It's often possible through the synergy of units, commanders, and other aspects of the game to buff things up and to really make these very, very powerful units. A term for them is often Death Stars. So if I have a very powerful close combat unit, anything I point and send that unit at, it's going to absolutely destroy. So now that puts us in this framework in an interesting place. I send this Death Star unit out, and you kind of have three options. One, you can throw multiple units at it and try to destroy it, remove it off the table. If you do that, that means 3, 4, or 5 other units, you've traded those units for one unit, and those 3 or 4 or 5 units, yes, they've dealt with my super powerful Death Star unit, but for those turns, they haven't been able to accomplish mission goals or work for other aspects. The second question is, if I throw various units at it little by little, they're going to get destroyed, and that Death Star unit's going to be moving around. If I ignore it, if I ignore the Death Star unit, well, what do I really gain there? I can't ignore it. I'm going to be running away. I'm going to be moving around. It's going to affect my movement and deployment. If I take my own Death Star unit and throw it against it, well, that'll stop it. But there's this old Tactica of when 2 tigers fight, one is maimed for life and the other is killed. So my super powerful Death Star killy unit, if I throw that up against your super powerful Death Star killy unit, then really we're just trading one for one. I'd rather be sending my Death Star killy unit gobbling up all of your units and causing the very chaos that you're causing to me. Next possibility, Tarpit. In wargaming, if you can't kill something and kill, destroy, remove from play, remove from the stand, that's the optimal goal, because I've taken that out of the game. Think about a unit on the table, any unit. It has a radius of movement. It has a radius of shooting, close combat, magic, whatever the system is. It has certain mission rules that it can accomplish in the game. All those things are in play, and I'm fighting them. I'm countering them. If I destroy that unit and it's removed from play, I don't have to worry about countering any of that anymore. So in any wargaming system, removing units from play is the most efficient thing. If I can't do that, this is where the Tarpit comes in. If I can't do that, then preventing it from acting for a number of turns is often just as powerful, is often just as good. So a Tarpit unit is a unit of high volume, low cost, that can soak up a lot of damage. By its nature, it's not necessarily going to do a lot of damage in return, but that's okay. It has 2 uses. The first is to block off certain parts of the wargaming table. The other aspect is to engage in shooting or in close combat and literally tie up a unit. Warhammer 40K, cultists do this. Chain of Command, just basic infantry to try and free up the tanks. Playing X-Wing miniatures, just low value, no name TIE fighters. This idea of units that are just going to swarm, tie you up, keep you occupied, keep you busy. Now, will you eventually destroy that Tarpit unit? Sure, absolutely. But the battle value, squadron points, power points, gold pieces, whatever that currency is such a low amount. And if I've tied up your unit for 2, 3, 4 turns, maybe even most of the game, kept it away, kept it busy, that's the buy-in. That's much more efficient. So looking into your wargaming system, looking into what you play, having a Tarpit unit that you can send out to deal with and literally tie up those super powerful units or block off certain areas of the gaming table, which is also very, very important, being able to control the midfield almost regardless of mission and independent of system.